Hey everybody, this is Mattie here with Altcoin Buzz. Hope you're having a good Monday so far. We're looking at 3 quick stories today, including this US Congressman that's passing bills that are hopefully going to make the lives of the crypto community in America a lot easier. We're taking a look at billionaire Mike Novogratz, who's saying that it is impossible for Bitcoin not to hit $10,000 by the end of 2018. Let's begin, however, on altcoinbuzz.io with this newsflash, the 4 most important stories of the week as provided by Luke. If you're not familiar with this, we're just recapping what we feel were the 4 most impactful stories. We have links to all of our original content in this article that's embedded. So number 1, Ripple, which we've been talking about just about every day, they hint that XRapid will go live, quote, in the next month or so. And we estimate that this is really what's caused a lot of the price action recently. So if you're not already across what's been happening with Ripple, do be sure to check out our links here. Number 2, Icon's mainnet 3.0 is live. So quite a big deal in the Icon community. Number 3, Weiss Ratings calls XRP, IOTA, NEO, and ADA Cardano absolute steals. And they did that prior to some very positive price action as well. To their credit, Weiss Ratings has been in the news as of late. Number 4, SEC delays decision on VanEck and SolidX until December. And thankfully, so far, the market hasn't taken this too badly just yet. So that was a pretty big development, and we more or less kept trading sideways, which is more than can be said for previous instances of ETF delays and rejection. But as I've been saying all week, guys, a delay in this major CBOE ETF is much better than a rejection outright. So do be sure to check out those articles. We'll have all the links in that previous piece that you can check out. In the news, by way of Alicia, U.S. Congressman wants to make life easier for the crypto community. Tom Emmer, a Republican member of Congress, has some good news for the crypto community. It has emerged that he pledges to introduce 3 bills aimed to support blockchain and cryptocurrencies in the U.S. Emmer is definitely what you would call a blockchain plus crypto enthusiast. Recently, he's been named a co-chair of the Congressional Blockchain Caucus, a platform for the industry and government collaboration to examine the implications of blockchain and digital currencies. This organization believes that regulatory bodies should leave this sector alone, which I would agree with, and allow it to evolve the same way the internet did. Yes, please. So there are 3 bills specifically that are being introduced. The first bill, quote, resolution supporting digital currencies and blockchain technology. So that's based on the idea that, like the internet, the federal government should provide a light touch, consistent, and simple legal environment for the participants of the industry. Yes, right on. The second one, quote, Blockchain Regulatory Certainty Act stipulates that certain blockchain-related entities that never take control of consumer funds do not need to register as a money transmitter. The third bill, quote, Safe Harbor for Taxpayers with Forked Assets Act, reminds the legislators that taxpayers can only comply with the law when the law is clear. So you all can read about Licia's opinion on whether this legislative push is going to change matters culturally, legislatively in the United States. As she writes, whether this slight change of tune develops into a more comprehensive and positive approach from the U.S. authorities, however, remains to be seen. And that's certainly true, but the fact that this is being discussed, the fact that you have Tom Emmer, who's talking about it in the first place, who's pushing for some of these initiatives, hey, that's not too bad. Hopefully that'll spark a more broad discussion. Emmer spearheads groundbreaking legislation to support blockchain technology and digital currencies. You can read about this on Tom Emmer's own website, emmer.house.gov. Another similar piece, Representative Emmer Foster announced as co-chairs of the Congressional Blockchain Caucus. Not too bad. We're going to be keeping an eye on that. That could be the type of development that bears fruit for us in the months ahead. Finally today, guys, not the longest video in the world, billionaire Novogratz, impossible for Bitcoin not to hit $10,000 by the end of 2018. It's been a rocky 2018 so far, no doubt about it. Crash after crash led the market to decline to lower lows. Many investors completely left or are still holding while being despaired. But the end of the year is going to be bright again, according to billionaire investor Michael Novogratz, at least. Michael Novogratz, a former hedge fund manager who is heavily invested in digital currencies, has said that the Bitcoin price will likely see a 30% increase by the end of 2018. Yay! So let's see what Luke has to say about this in his piece, because of course, Mike Novogratz has been in the news recently and he has been very bullish and he's been saying some things that are rather optimistic. However, take it with a grain of salt, because of course he is the CEO of his own company, Galaxy Digital. So it's in his interest for these prices, these cryptocurrency prices and the market on the whole to rise. So, I mean, to one extent or another, part of this is just him trying to reinvigorate the space. You got to kind of see it from that perspective as well. He appeared on CNBC Fast Money recently and said the following, quote, "It's also a bull market in institutions building the infrastructure needed for real money investors to start investing in this space. I think that in 3 to 6 months from now, there will be an all clear sign for people, big institutions and pension funds to start investing." You guys can check out this particular exchange. It happened on Fast Money. So that's on CNBC. Pretty good guess for them to have. Michael Novogratz is certainly a prominent individual in the space. And you may remember also he's been talking about some other things related to cryptocurrency very specifically. He's the kind of guy that is worth following, by the way, on Twitter, because when he says something, he doesn't exactly have verbal diarrhea. He says things sparingly, but when they do come out, they're pretty well backed up. They're well researched. And I would like to think that he comes from a position of intelligence. He's very rational and analytical. Some of you may disagree, but do check out this interview in full if you'd like. You can take a look at what he said in length. But going back to the details regarding his predictions beyond that interview, of course, he did call a bottom recently. So as Luke points out, on the 13th of September, while many analysts were still projecting that Bitcoin would fall back to the 5,000 region, Novogratz made a bullish statement on Twitter. Novogratz stated that cryptocurrency prices have reached a bottom. Quote, "This is the BGCI chart. I think we put in a low yesterday, retouched the highs of late last year and the point of acceleration that led to the massive rally/bubble. Markets like to retrace to the breakout. We retraced the whole of the bubble." So this is the chart that he was referring to specifically. If you want to take a look at the original tweet, then we're going to link to that as well in the description below. And look, and I mentioned this at the time, take this with a grain of salt, because when we did cover it, yes, prices were lower than they are today. So we've seen a little bit of an uptick since he did predict that so-called bottom. But again, this is all in his interest to say, right? He's trying to prop up his own business. He's trying to look out for his own interests as well. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we just got to realize that that's part of what's going on here. So interesting piece. Read more about Luke's article here to get his full opinion, his whole take on the issue. I'd like to believe that he's right, so let's see what's going to happen. Members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, we're going to stay on top of that story. Best way to keep updated, do follow Altcoin Buzz and Altcoin Buzz News on the Twitter. We're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Telegram. Check out our last video here on the right, as well as our latest publications on altcoinbuzz.io. Members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, it's Monday, so here's wishing you a very nice week to come. If you choose to invest, I wish you happy investing. We'll see you again soon in a new video. Take care.